Today we have with us the all-new 2020 Maruti Suzuki S-Cross, the premium SUV from the Maruti Suzuki manufacturer. And in this video, we are going to give you one of the most detailed review of this car. First, we're going to talk about the styling, followed by the performance, not to mention the features of this car, followed by the practicality, which means how much storage spaces you get inside this car, and then one of the most important parts, that is comfort. And last but not the least, the pricing of this all-new car. So stay tuned with us till the end of this video. And without any further ado, let's get on to it.
Now the main USP of our channel is to provide detailed review, and if you like such detailed reviews, well, I recommend pressing that red subscribe button to join the family. And a very special thanks to Maruti Suzuki Autovogue, which is a NEXA dealership here in Industrial Area Chandigarh. They have an amazing inventory of all the NEXA cars, and you can contact them using the links in the description down below. And with that said, let's get started.
The styling of the S-Cross is one of the most stunning designs that Maruti Suzuki has ever created, in my personal opinion. Not just the Maruti Suzuki cars, but if you talk about the competitors of this car, the Hyundai Creta and the Honda WRV. Compared to both those cars, this car has a much more superior design, in my personal opinion. It's just the excellence and the elegance of this car which makes this car stand out. And that, in my opinion, is a really good thing. If we talk about the grille in this car, well, we have 10 individual slats in the grille, all of which are chrome treated, and we have a chrome surround all around the grille, which just looks amazing. If we talk about the headlamps in this car, we have a projector headlamp setup in this car, along with halogen bulbs for the high beams and for the indicators in this car. However, we don't get to see any DRLs in this car, but that's in the Zeta model only. In the Alpha model, that is the top model of this car, we have a blacked out design which looks really amazing, and also along with it the DRLs, which is a great addition. Now the side profile of this car is really very simple like any other car, but the one thing that I do want to tell you is that we have 16-inch alloy wheels in this car which have a beautiful design. And the big thing is that not only in this Zeta model, you also get alloy wheels in the Delta model, that is the lower variant than this, and obviously in the top model as well, you do get alloy wheels. Now the rear of the S-Cross is very simple yet again, but we do have small little caveat over here. If you look at the tail lamps of this car, which have been beautifully integrated, I think they've done a really good job. But the tail lights in this car that we get in the base model, the Delta model and the Zeta model, that is this one, are of this style over here, in which we have a diagonal design like this one. And that's because we have a halogen tail lamp setup. But in the top model, that is the Alpha model of this car, we have a straight setup, and that is because the tail lamps in the top model are a LED setup. However, the reverse light and the indicators are normal halogen bulbs. Another thing to notice over here is that NEXA cars don't have any kind of badging for the model this car is. For example, this is the Zeta model, and you don't have any kind of badging anywhere in this car telling you that this is the Zeta model. And this designing cue is not just for the S-Cross, but for any NEXA car that is available in the NEXA showrooms right now. And last but not the least, the one thing that I don't think that NEXA is doing a really good job on is the NEXA badging. They just give you a cheap little sticker over here. Why don't they give you a beautiful badging of NEXA? Now talking about the engine of the Maruti Suzuki S-Cross, we get BS6 compliant engines, obviously, which is only available in the petrol engine option, and this time around the car is available in both manual and automatic transmission options, which I think is a really cool thing. So if we talk about the engine specs of this car, well, we have a 1.5 liter petrol engine which is capable of producing 103 horsepower and 138 Newton meters of torque, which I think are okay numbers for a family car of this size. If we talk about the average of this car, well, the company claim of the 2020 S-Cross is 18.5 kmpl for the manual variants and round about 18.4 for the automatic variants.
And now we're going to start the features of this car. First we're going to talk about the exterior features, then we're going to move into the interior features of this car. For the exterior, this car has keyless entry, which means you don't need to fiddle around the key of this car at all. You can lock and unlock the car using the button on the handles of the front two doors, and same as well for the trunk of this car. Now the next feature of this car includes the driver's side door. Only the driver's side has the one-touch controls, as you can see. But the cool thing is that this car comes with anti-pinch windows as well for the driver's side seat. And not just in this car, but in all 4 models. Now the last feature in the exterior is that you get disc brakes for all 4 tires. In front ones you get ventilated disc brakes, and in the rear one you get solid disc brakes. Moving inside the car, we are first greeted by the steering wheel of this car, which by the way in the top model is leather wrapped, but as is a Zeta model, we get a normal plasticky foam finish. But I do like one thing, that this is a multifunction steering wheel. As you can see, we have various buttons for controlling various things in this car, and we're going to explain them one by one. So first we have these buttons which are used to control the infotainment display in this car, and this is a mute button, this is a mode button which is used to cycle between FM, AM and Bluetooth menu. Down below we have volume up and down and the track tuning buttons. Moving down below we have 3 buttons. This is the ending call button, this is the picking call button, and this is the voice assistant button. But this one only works if your phone has been connected to the display, as you can see. And last but not the least, we have cruise control buttons over here, which is a great feature by the way. And what makes it even better is that except the base model, all the models get this feature. One more great feature in this steering wheel is that this has tilted and telescopic adjustment. Moving towards the instrument cluster in this car, we have the tachometer in this car and the speedometer in this car. But centrally mounted is a display which have a bunch of great features. So first we'll talk about those. For controlling this display, we have 2 stalks. One is this one and one is on the other side, this one. So if we push the stalk in, we are greeted with the instant fuel economy in this car. Then we have the average fuel economy. Then we have the range in this car, but as the car is in the battery power mode, that is why it is showing dashes in the display. Next we have the average speed, which by the way this is a showroom car so it doesn't move. That is why it is showing 7 kilometers per hour. Then we have total idling stop time, which means that the time this car has been started but not moving. For example, a stop light. Then we have total idling fuel saved. As this car is a smart hybrid version, this car saves fuel while it is idling. So this display tells us exactly what fuel was saved by this car. And this display is very unique. Let me explain what it does. Now this display is for the smart hybrid system in this car. And this display particularly shows us how much battery has been charged due to the kinetic power of this car. Now what that means is that as this car is moving, the kinetic energy it produces is being converted into the electrical energy and is stored into the battery of this car, and hence the smart hybrid system. But anyways, let's move on back to the display. And the last is the decluttered display in which there is no information shown. Now that's not all for this display. We have some hidden features as well. For example, you can rotate this stalk for increasing the display brightness and the gauge cluster as well. Similarly, rotating it the other way, you can decrease the brightness as well. And if you hold down this stalk for 3 seconds, a display menu pops up in which we have basic functions. For example, distance unit. For in case if you wanted it in the miles, you can change it. And we have fuel economy, in which we can change the units of the fuel economy. Language, we can choose from multiple languages, for example English, French, Spanish and German. You get the gist of it. Going back, we have fuel reset. This is a very cool feature in this car. For calculating the economy in this car, we usually manually reset the odometer after refueling this car. But this car has a feature of putting it automatically reset after refuel, which means now whenever you refuel this car, the odometer will automatically resets and you don't have to do anything else. Moving ahead, we have temperature in this car. We can choose between Celsius and Fahrenheit. Next we have set sensors, in which we have normal mode and trailer mode. In normal mode, the rear sensors would work fine. But for example, if you're towing a trailer back in your car, and at that time if the sensors are in normal mode and you put the car in the reverse, the sensors would go off crazy because the trailer would be so close to your car. So Maruti has given you trailer mode for just avoiding that, and that is pretty cool thinking. Next we have clock settings. If you don't like the 24-hour clock or the 12-hour clock, you can change it according to your personal preference, and you can also adjust the clock. Next we have door lock. Over here we have 4 options. but the unique one is of door unlock. If we go into that, so right now the car is an all door, and if you unlock the car, every single door in this car opens up at the same time. And if you put the driver door only, when you unlock this car, only the driver door unlocks, and you will have to press the unlock button twice to open every single door. And last but not the least, we have lights. Over here, the unique thing is of lane change. As you can see right now, it's currently on, and if I touch the stalk, the indicator will go off 3 times. This is to indicate the people behind me that I'm changing lanes. And if I tend to turn this feature off, and then if I touch the indicator would not blink the 3 times. And so that was this display of this car. And the other display in this car we have is the infotainment display. But we have given a very detailed review of this display as a separate video, and links to that will be in the description below, and the infotainment card up on the corner of your display. In this car, as you can see, we have normal IRVM, and only in the top model you get the auto dimming one.
I'm going to start the practicality with the glove box in this car, and once you open it, as you can see, it's a very large glove box. According to the size of this car, you can get a lot of stuff stored inside it, but the downside is that there is no organization whatsoever, and it's also not ventilated. However, the good side is that we do have a light in this car. Moving to the center console, we have a storage cubby over here, preferably for keeping your phone. We also have a USB and an aux port over here. Moving just behind it, we have 2 cup holders over here, and behind that you can find the adjustable armrest in this car, which can be opened to reveal a very large cubby, which you can see can fit my whole hand, so it is pretty large. In the ceiling of this car, you can also find a sunglass holder, but the thing is that's not available in the base variant. We obviously get door bins in this car with space for keeping magazines and a bottle holder over here. Over on the driver's side, we have a small storage cubby for keeping toll receipts, etc. Coming to the rear seats, we get to see seat pockets for the passenger as well as for the driver's side seat. The armrest in this car, when opened, reveals 2 cup holders. But the door bins in this car in the rear seats do not have any kind of magazine holder, but only a bottle holder. And now coming to the practicality's most important part, and that is the trunk in this car. First, I'm going to talk about opening this car's trunk, and sadly there's only one way to open this car's trunk, and that is using the request sensor given over here. Not a handle, a request sensor. And my complaint with that is, it's good that they're giving a request sensor, but why can't they give you a simple button on the key fob to open this car's trunk? Let alone the key fob, there is not even a way to open this car's trunk from the interior of this car, and that's something I don't understand. But still, let's just open this car's trunk up and see what's inside. So talking about the actual trunk space in this car, the trunk of this car is really large, and that's something I really like. And also it's a hardwood bed, which I think is quite cool. For organization, we have one space over here, and similarly on the other side you also have a bucket over here for keeping stuff, and over here you get a hook for hanging some groceries. On the other side, we also have a 12-volt charging socket and a light, which is a nice thing. Coming back, as you can see, we also have a cargo tray in this car, which can also be detached from here and from the other side.
Now if we talk about the comfort in the all-new S-Cross, the seat upholstery of the Zeta variant is the normal fabric upholstery, as in both the base variant and the Delta variant. But in the top model, which is the Alpha variant, we get leather upholstery. But anyways, the fabric upholstery itself is very soft in this car, and the seat material is also very comfortable. I also get seat adjustability for moving the seat back and forth, moving the backrest back and forth, and only in the Zeta and Alpha model the height adjustability as well. So my final conclusion for the front seats in this car is that you can drive this car for a long road trip. But let's move on to the rear seats now. Now legroom I get when I sit in the rear seats is around about 5 inches, and now my height is 5'10". So even if the person taller than me wants to sit in the rear seats, he will have sufficient legroom. And if I talk about the headroom, I have well about 4 inches of headroom. Coming on to the seat material, it is same as the front ones, the soft and comfortable ones. Now let's move on to the middle seat of this car and see what's the situation there. In the middle seat, the transmission tunnel in this car is quite substantial. So you have to sit with one leg on the right side and one leg on the left side. Other than that, I don't think so that there is going to be any other problem. Well, now Maruti says that they give reclining seats for the rear as well. Let's see. Really? Only that much of reclining? That's hardly even 5 degrees.
Till now in the video, you've known about the styling, the performance, the features, the practicality and the comfort about this car. And now it's time for the pricing of the 2020 S-Cross. The S-Cross is available in 4 major variants, that is Sigma, Delta, Zeta, which is this car, and the Alpha, which is the top model of the S-Cross lineup. So if I talk about the Sigma model, that is the base model, the on-road price of that car without the registration costs is 8,89,000 rupees. Once again, it's the on-road price without the registration costs. If you talk about the Delta variant of this car, well, that car is available for 10,16,000 rupees without the registration costs. Similarly, if we talk about the Zeta variant, which is this car, well, this car would set you back 10,52,000 rupees. And similarly, the top model of this car is available at a price of 11,78,000 rupees. But all these prices were just the manual variants of this car. Like I said, this car is available in both manual and automatic. So if I talk about the automatic pricing right now, keep in mind that the automatic variants only start from Delta, not the Sigma model. That means in the base variant of this car, you do not get any automatic variant. The Delta variant in automatic would cost you 11,45,000 rupees on road without the registration costs. Similarly, the Zeta model in automatic would cost you 11,81,000 rupees, and the top model in automatic would cost you 13,07,000 rupees. And so that was the pricing of the all-new 2020 Maruti S-Cross.
And so that was our detailed review of the all-new S-Cross. Once again, this car is available at Maruti Suzuki Autovogue Nexa, and you can contact them using the links in the description down below. And with this, we complete our review. And if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, comment down below what we can improve in our videos, share it as much as you can, and a subscribe would also be appreciated. Thank you.